Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. My grandmother saved money for me and my siblings for college. When I was 18, I got pregnant. No college for me. I moved out to a different state and started a family. At 20, I was a busy mother of 2 working an hourly job. Fast forward 16 years, I am a divorced single mother of 2 still working an hourly job. I've struggled quite a bit throughout that time, but my parents have always been a part of my and my children's lives. I've never had enough time to go back to school and decided I would save the college money my grandma left me for my children, since I would not be able to save up enough for them on my own. Now that my children are in high school, I've been trying to prepare for their future. They are straight A honor students and are definitely going to college. My siblings have all used their college money for schooling or a down payment on a house. I saved up and purchased my house on my own, so I could save that money for my children. I found out recently that years ago, my parents used all of my college money during a time they were struggling for money. My dad quit his job and lost a lot of money trying to flip houses. My parents have always had expensive taste, and instead of downsizing and cutting back, they used my college fund until all the money ran out. Now they are retired and pay rent in a modest home. I am so angry and hurt. I've decided to not have my parents in my life anymore. There were some other toxic reasons too from my childhood, but this was the last straw for me. They are still very much a part of my children's lives, and I never told my children about what happened. And because of quarantine, they don't know that I have stopped talking to them. My parents and siblings are livid. They text me how awful I am for cutting my parents out of my life, and now my siblings won't talk to me either. I feel a huge weight off my shoulders since I haven't spoken to my parents. This has been something I have been thinking about doing for over 10 years. I hold a lot of resentment towards my parents for spending all of my savings my grandmother left for me, as well as the years of neglect I felt throughout my childhood. I'm currently seeing a counselor for past traumas. My parents have always had an expensive lifestyle, and just thinking about how they would use the money to fund their lifestyle and money problems makes me so angry. My husband thinks I'm in the wrong for not wanting my parents in my life because of money. And seeing how my siblings reacted towards me makes me know they think I'm the a-hole, but I've never felt better about my decision. I have never interfered with their relationship with my children and would never badmouth or involve my children in my decision. I take my children to their home to drop off thoughtful gifts and letters. Because of quarantine, they can't stay over. Am I the a-hole for cutting my parents off when I found out they stole my college fund to help pay for their lifestyle and money problems? Edit. My parents live on Social Security and retirement. They live paycheck to paycheck now, so there is no way I would be able to get money back from them, unfortunately. I should probably also share that during my parents' financial struggles, I helped pay their bills, car insurance, groceries, grossly overpaid them to babysit or pet sit the whole time, never knowing they were using my college fund. I also saved 3 years of tax returns to pay for my entire family to spend a week in a beach house in California. I feel like the biggest idiot. More information. I tried talking to my parents in the beginning about using my college money. My mom plays dumb and says she doesn't and has never had any involvement in their money, and to ask my dad because he's the one who handles their money. My dad first tried to say I spent it. Then when I showed him proof I didn't, and he was the principal on the account and showed he withdrew the money at the bank, he said he would look into it, accused me of spending it again, and now just ignores me every time I bring it up. I know that each of my siblings and I had our own accounts, but my dad was the principal on the accounts for all of us. He transferred the accounts to my siblings when they went to college. I just assumed mine was sitting at the bank untouched. My parents don't have money anymore. I don't want to pay for court. I want to just move on with my life without the toxicity of my family. The money is gone, but I have peace of mind now, and I'm working on myself to get over the resentment I feel in my heart. My husband is not too supportive and just tells me to talk to my parents and counselor about things. But now he agrees with my decision after reading my post. My children are 16 and 14 and are able to drive or get picked up anytime they want to see my parents. I think my children's relationship with them is completely different and separated from mine, and they do not need to be involved. You're not the a-hole, OP. Your parents are big a-holes and so are your siblings. How can your siblings not understand that you have everything right to cut your parents out of your life after what they did to you? I'm sure they don't understand because it wasn't their money your parents took it away from to maintain their lifestyle. That is selfish, greedy, and cruel. You don't have to have any relationship with them. You have enough reason not to. It's not about the money. It's about their actions. It's about them gaslighting you to cover up the fact that they spent your money. Your kids can still have a relationship with them, but you don't have to. Anyone who says you're an a-hole for this decision needs to get out of your life too. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. The way you felt after you cut them off is proof that you made the right choice. Your parents haven't, as far as you've written here, acknowledged wrongdoing or apologized for looting your college fund. You don't owe them anything. Your siblings weren't robbed, so their feelings on this issue aren't really relevant. If they feel like you are treating your parents unfairly, they are welcome to make you whole. Your husband's reaction is a bit concerning to me, but I'm glad he understands better now. You said that you've been thinking about stopping contact with your parents for 10 years. That relief you felt is confirmation that you are doing the best thing for you at this moment. This doesn't appear to be a decision based solely on the money. The money seems to be the tipping point. I know from experience how helpful a therapist can be working through situations like this, so I'm glad you're seeing one. If you are ever ready to resume contact with your family again someday, though it doesn't have to happen, a therapist can also help you work through that to help you stay as mentally healthy as possible. Not the a-hole. It doesn't even seem to be about the money so much as they ruined opportunities that you could have had, lied, by omission to you, and stole from you. They betrayed you, essentially. Maybe your siblings and husband don't understand that. Also, it's weird how your siblings got their college money and it seems like it's just you who didn't. You mentioned how you had other issues with your parents, and it makes me think of how sometimes in a family, one family member basically gets crapped on by the others. It's really unfair, especially as your parents don't seem the remorseful type so much as the victim type with what you've said about how they reacted. You should feel good about cutting your parents off, especially since you took the high road and still let them see their grandkids. Story 2. I'm 34 years old and have a 6-year-old son. He loves to visit his great-grandma, so I took him to visit. I'm not vegan, my son isn't vegan, and nor is my grandma. However, my cousin who had dropped her kid off at my grandma is vegan, and so are her 3 kids, 13, 12, and 5. My cousin usually drops her kids off at my gram's place so she can go to yoga, and normally, I think from what my grandma has mentioned, she will leave cash so my grandma can order them some vegan food. However, today she didn't leave any money because I'm assuming she saw me there and figured I would take care of the bill. She's always done stuff like that since we were young, because I have always been a saver and she's never missed trying to take advantage of that. After maybe 2 hours, I decided it's time for lunch and so asked my grams if she's hungry because I'm happy to cook. She insisted I leave the cooking and order in, but I'm not letting an old lady cook or waste money when there is food in the house, so I make some awesome vegan tacos. It was vegan ground beef on lettuce leaves and diced onion and sriracha mayo, so really nothing fancy but pretty tasty. My kids ate it, yelling, "Daddy, this is awesome." My grandma ate it and was pleasantly surprised that it was good. I ate it, and even the dog was sniffing around at the ground meat. 2 of her kids, however, sat there with their noses turned right the way up and kept saying, "Ew, I just want to order something in," whilst the youngest chomped it down, shaking his butt, doing the little kid happy food dance. I just told the older two they could eat this or go get fruit from the kitchen. They sat there scowling until their mom came back. When she did, they went running to her and told her how hungry they were, at which point she asked why I hadn't ordered them food when there is just literally a vegan sushi bar a block away. I told my cousin that I had cooked vegan food and I didn't feel the need to order in when there was already food available. She called me a complete a-hole in front of my son as he had wandered in by this point, and told me that if I was such a tightwad, she would have squared the cash with me right from the start so her kids didn't need to go hungry. I was beyond fuming, but kept calm for the sake of my son, and instead just went out in the backyard so I could focus on my boy. After she left and I came back inside, my grandma was very quiet and asked me to please apologize to my cousin. I told her I would reach out to my cousin to talk it over at some point, but I wouldn't be saying sorry. But I'm just so irritated over the whole thing. I'm not sure if I'm letting my emotions cloud my judgment here. You're not an a-hole, OP. You made sure there was food for the kids to eat even when your sister didn't leave you any money, and you cooked something vegan that everyone enjoyed. It was her older kids who decided they didn't want to eat what you cooked, and they wanted something ordered instead. But why would you order food when you already made food? Her children acted entitled, but with your sister's behavior, it's easy to see where they learned their behavior from. You're not an a-hole, OP. Your sister is just an entitled brat who needs to stop teaching her kids that the world revolves around them and their wants, and that everyone was on earth to provide it for them. Now for some comments. Wait. Vegan here. And thank you for making them vegan food, by the way. Their mother expects you to order vegan sushi. I'm not sure where you are, but that shit is expensive. Now if she had left money for all of you and your grandma, included, to order expensive AF sushi, hey, cool. But to not leave any money, expect you to pick up the tab and spend that much money on lunch just for her kids and no one else, just wow. Not the a-hole. So not the a-hole. Don't apologize either. Not the a-hole. When we stayed at my aunt's, grandma's, cousins, friends, etc., you ate what they made for dinner and you were polite about it. End of story. Now you made them a vegan meal that had protein, carbs and fats. A well-rounded vegan meal. They turned their nose up at it. I would demand an apology to the cousin, saying that you made them a vegan meal from a vegan recipe you found online and everyone else ate it. Your house isn't a restaurant, and while you're happy to make food that fits their diet restrictions, you're not going to order everyone a custom meal. It's not a matter of money. And it's rude to call you a cheap wad or whatever. I wouldn't let that slide. You ran out and bought custom vegan ingredients and didn't mention the cost, so her bringing money into this is uncalled for. Not the a-hole. Your cousin's elder kids acted like entitled tweens, and considering the mother's behavior, I'm not surprised. You provided perfectly okay food for a vegan diet, despite not having been given any money for it, nor even being politely asked if you could take care of it. The kids' attitude was rude, but one can try and indulge them a bit given they're 13 and 12. But your cousin's reaction and words were completely a-hole-y. I understand grandma wanting to make peace, and as she does order food for these kids when they're on her watch, and she does get money for it, she probably doesn't see that you're not in the wrong here, as the situation is different. Anyway, don't apologize, obviously. Entitled people need a reality check once in a while.